Welcome back to the Nerdfest podcast. I am your host, Joe Archidiacono, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Andy Sandrick.
What's up, Grizz? It's a beautiful day for a podcast. I was supposed to be sealing a deck today, but it's raining, so I am on the podcast. This is great to get a podcast out today about our favorite event of the year so far.
Oh yeah. I should have been in Dillsburg right now, but some dumb shit happened and we're not going to talk about it. And we're going to move on because we got Manfest to talk about, which was an awesome event. A lot of people showed up. A lot of people had fun despite the terrible weather, but there's nothing we could do about it. But I think we really made the most of it.
Absolutely. I can't wait to talk about it, but, we do have a lot to discuss. But I mean, first of all, I just want to know, what have you been up to lately, Grizz? I haven't talked to you since Manfest.
Yeah, it's been a little while. It's been a while since we've done this show to even, talk about what we've been playing, but, I've still been playing Starfield. I'm still enjoying it, but, another game came out that's really been taking up a lot of my attention, which is called, Warhammer 40K Darktide. And it's like it's a Left 4 Dead type game, and there's several different classes that you can pick. There's, veteran, zealot, psyker, and ogren. And it's basically, your typical, like the shooter, psyker is like the glass cannon, ogren is the big tank and whatever. But each of them has a big skill tree. There's tons of weapons for each one of them. And if you know anything about 40K, it takes place in a big hive city where there's like trillions and trillions of people living, because basically, like, unless you're a soldier or very high up in the Imperium, your life is worthless and you're just like a drone doing menial work, producing weapons for the never-ending wars across the galaxy. And one of these huge cities has been taken over by one of the Chaos gods with, what is his name? Nurgle. And he's the god of decay and rot.
Nurgle, what a name.
Nurgle, yep. And and so you're fighting all sorts of crazy monsters and crazy, demons and stuff, as well as just all sorts of like crazy looking smaller enemies. Like if you've played, I think, like Left 4 Dead, like Back 4 Blood, those kinds of games where there's, the smaller enemies and then there's the big special enemies. There's the crazy like mini bosses once in a while, but there's also all sorts of like objectives you got to complete. And I really like the world around it too, because there's not a whole lot of color because it's very like drab and dreary in this, never ending war of the future. But there's a lot of really cool architecture, a lot of really cool like spaces that you fight your way through if you can take a moment to like look around and appreciate any of it. But it's a really fun game, and I've been playing it with some friends of mine and even having fun playing it just with randoms and quick play matches, which I usually don't have fun playing these kinds of games with randoms, but it's a very fun game. And
what platform is that on?
It's on PC and Xbox. I think it might be on PlayStation. I'm not sure. It just showed up on Xbox Game Pass like last month sometime, because I'd been keeping track of that for a while. Like it was supposed to come out on Xbox the same time as its PC release, like last year, and then that never happened. And then it just randomly showed up on Game Pass one day, and I've been having a good time with it.
Nice. I see that you've also been playing something else that's on the Switch that you're taking a liking to.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of, not a lot of F-Zero. I've been playing F-Zero 99, not a lot of it anymore because of Darktide, but I've been playing it every now and then, and that's also a lot of fun because F-Zero is one of the racing games I remember liking as a kid. Like I never really got into racing games, but F-Zero was just different enough, just like stylized enough that I really took a liking to it. And 99 is a lot of fun. It's very interesting how they turned it into one of these elimination style games, but it's pretty fun. Have you been playing that at all?
Yeah, I was on the welcoming crew for it. I was out there for like the first couple weeks and certainly played my fill of it. And yeah, it's fun. It's addicting. Every time that timer shifts down for a new special event or Grand Prix or some of these events that they offer. It's just, it's super competitive and it's fun. It's challenging. You don't feel overmatched, against anybody. You feel like you have as good of a chance as anybody does to win it. And, just with the vehicle combinations and stuff, I really enjoyed it. I haven't played it for a little bit, but now that we're talking about it, I kind of want to turn it on after the podcast. So, yeah, it's definitely a fun game. If you guys haven't tried it on the Switch, it's for Nintendo Switch Online members, and yeah, it's just a fun online free to play game. So.
And what else have you been playing these days?
Well, I finally got through my run through Final Fantasy V, and it's a fun game. It's an older game. And it has this job system that offers more customization potential than a lot of RPGs of its time. With that said, this game kind of hits you hard. Like, there's certain points in the game where you can get wiped out pretty fast, and it's stressful. It makes you think. It makes you customize a little bit more with your team. And I got to the finish line with only one character alive, and they had 3 HP. I posted a screenshot of it in the group. And, yeah, it's a fun game, but it could be a little bit stressful. So, that's the 5th game I've gotten through from the Pixel Remaster release on the Switch. And I think you can get on your iPhone and maybe PlayStation. I'm not sure, but, I've gotten through the first 5 games, and my plan was to go through the first 6 games, which were all included on there, but I'm holding off on starting Final Fantasy VI so I could finally play the game I got for Christmas. Which is Harvestella. It's
a little while ago.
Yeah, it's been like 9 or 10 months. No big deal. But it's this action RPG that with kind of farming and property management elements. I'm still really early in my playthrough. Maybe like 6 or 7 hours in real time, but I have high hopes. I'm kind of chasing that video game high that Stardew Valley gave me once upon a time, where I was making like spreadsheets and stuff like that and planning my farm and just doing all this wild stuff. It was a fun time in my life. If there was a game I could play again for the first time, it would probably be, Stardew Valley would be right up there. But anyway, I have my hopes up way too high for Harvestella, but it's a Square Enix game. This is their attempt at getting into that kind of farming sim bubble, and I'm giving it a shot, and I'm enjoying it so far. So whenever I'm not being a man, I'm playing as my character in Harvestella. So
whenever you're not farming at Sharpies, you're
farming whenever
on
I'm not
Switch.
doing real life farming, I'm farming on my Switch.
And well, speaking of being a man and farming at Sharpies, we all just got through the very first Manfest tournament, and it was a tough one. It was a rough day out there. I was looking at the weather forecast all week leading up to that, just like, nah, it's gonna change. It's gonna be better. It's not gonna be raining all day long, but no, it was raining all day long.
Yeah, it was just this hard, gritty kind of tournament. I mean, you look around and there was so many strong dudes there, so many blue collar kind of guys. It was intimidating. I went hard, and I mean, I'm proud to finish in the top 10 among 17. That was hard with the group we had.
Yeah, me and you, same amount of man.
Yeah, exactly. We are the same amount of man. There's plenty of man in these two guys, but, just going over the standings here, it was won by Nat Barrick with 111.5 points, not surprisingly. Dude is jacked. Again, not surprisingly, Matt Sharp in second with 104 points. He's the one who put this whole thing together, dreamt it, came up with the events. I would say Sharpie did probably 95% of the work. Just putting everything together, and a lot of us kind of came through and chipped in our own ways at the end, but, well-deserved second place for Sharpie. And then Nick Maisano, all 98 pounds of him or whatever. Well, he had scored 98 points, so
Yeah.
he's in third place with 98 points, and Nick was kind of one of those guys who helped Sharpie set up some of the events and got to practice a lot. So it's not a complete surprise to see him up there, but just with some of the hulking men that we had in this tournament, seeing Nick's like small frame there in the trophy picture with Sharpie and Nat and their guns and everything. It was a pretty hilarious picture to look at.
Well, the tournament, there was really only a couple events that were pure strength based, and a lot of it was like technique and form and just being, good at certain sports or certain, kind of movements or whatever. But, not every event you needed to be a big muscle man, even though the push-ups and the arm wrestling were pretty much the main event of the tournament.
Oh my God, yeah. We'll get into those in a little bit, but those were the funnest spectator.
Everybody came to see the heavyweights.
Yeah, they're either counting push-ups or just going insane for like some of the matchups. We didn't have enough time to take bets, but I bet you if we were taking bets, people would have jumped in on that. So, yeah, I'll let you take the next few people on the list here.
Yeah, the next guy in the standings here should have been a lot lower. I don't know how. He must have gamed the system or cheated or wrote down his own scores or something. Ben Rapp, this character, I will say, coming in fourth here, because that is the best I can say about him. The worst I can say he's a dirty, rotten, filthy cheater, but whatever. Coming in fourth here, Ben Rapp.
There's no evidence that he cheated.
The referee of the event only said that he cheated. That's who said.
Okay, there was one instance of cheating where I think he was disqualified. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, we'll get into Rhapsody's disqualification a little bit later. It's just impressive to see that this guy that we thought was a nerd is also a man. And there's a few things that happened in his favor. Like Poole, he qualified for the finals by only beating one person. He got walks like the whole way through from people who didn't show up or just things like that. So
yeah, he just got buyed into the semifinals.
Now, to Rhapsody's credit, he did win the photo contest because everyone else wore the same costume, which was flannel and suspenders. They all split each other's votes, and Rhapsody did the old-timey, like, weight,
yeah, the weights on the barbell, the big ball weights on the barbell.
Yeah, and yeah, he was just wearing a t-shirt with his big old arms out, holding the barbell on top of his head, and that got enough votes to win the photo contest. So
I'll be
Rhapsody
honest.
with a well-deserved fourth. I think he thinks he deserves third, but he deserves fourth.
Rhapsody and podiums. I'll name a duo that's never gonna happen. Is that the meme? I don't know. Anyway.
This was his best chance, I think.
I mean, if he trains for next year, I think he's got a better shot at podium on Manfest than podium at Nerdfest, but that's just my opinion anyway. But, I'll be honest, I forgot that there was a costume contest. When you were taking pictures of people, I was like, oh, he's just taking pictures of the people showing up and putting them on the Facebook. That's why, and like, I realized like I wore the same exact thing to Manfest that I wore to Nerdfest.
You're like, what? It's Eagles gear. I'm a fucking man. What do you want?
It's got a lot of luck in it. Also, isn't that pretty manly? I don't give a shit about fashion or wearing or whatever. I'm just gonna wear the same thing. That's what a man would do, right?
See it the same way as you.
Yeah, none of the voters. Thanks for 0 votes, guys.
I got one vote from Sharpie's mom.
Anyway, I'm not bitter about it. Next up, Martin Spieth with 76 points. Ben Garrett had 50 points. Brian Laird had 44 points. Pat McVitie had 41.5. Jacob Kleckner had 41. And then me and Andy coming in same place, same amount of man, 36 points in 10th place, rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, I was impressed to see Martin in the top 5 there. You talk about making sure you're ready in the skill events. I don't think Martin anticipated he was gonna score any points in some of the harder events like the arm wrestling and stuff, even though he did get a 7th place in arm wrestling, but Martin did really well. It was very surprising to see him up there.
He did really well at the axe throwing. I was watching him do it. I couldn't believe what he was doing. I don't know
Yeah,
if he frequents those axe throwing places or what, but he was killing it.
he seems like a guy who would frequent axe throwing places and drink craft beer. That's up Martin's alley. He's a Flatlander. So, yeah, again, for a Flatlander, 76 points, top 5 at Manfest. That's like a great life achievement for Martin. So I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I tied somebody from West Perry. That's worth something in a manliness contest, right?
That is, and then just,
Do you want to take the rest of them here? After?
Yeah, sure. 12th place was Cody with 35. 13th place was Seth Miller, 33. 14th was Josh Mitten, 20.5. 15th was Justin Seidel with 16. 16 was Stefan Klecker with 10. And 17th, last but certainly not least, Spencer Kaufman with 5. So we had a decent amount of people.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Spence. He was worried about his finish, and it happened.
I'm not gonna lie. I think every single one of us had that worry going to bed the night before Manfest. Like, please don't be last place.
I can't be in last in the manliness tournament.
No, there was some events in there that could make you quit. Like, there were people who got crushed in arm wrestling who got to the consolations were like, you know what, fuck this. Like, I'm done. Like, it was definitely a hard tournament, like very gritty. So,
yeah, I mean, by the time I got to the 8th place match with Martin, my shoulder was just shot. As soon as we started, I was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, but I didn't hear one complaint about the rain or anything all day. Like, our competitors were men in every sense of the word. Like, I could tell that these dudes, especially some of these old heads probably walk 10 miles to school every single day, in the snow uphill. Like,
both ways.
This was a tough tournament, and people weren't complaining. Like, there were tendons being snapped. There were rotator cuffs being separated.
Wrists being shattered.
Yeah, there was no complaining at all. Like, everyone took it like a man.
Yeah, we can talk about all the injuries when we get there to the one very specific event where we all just destroyed ourselves.
Yeah, where some bad things happened. So, but we have a lot of games to go over. So we'll start out with the golf chip here. And this was a 1-player challenge event. You're trying to chip practice
Sharpie
golf balls.
Yeah, Sharpie devised a little kiddie pool with some other little tiered spaces in it to chip little practice balls into from his backyard. And it was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be going, because it was kind of downhill a little bit towards where the area was.
And it was tricky. I mean,
and with the wind and the rain.
It was the wind and the rain. I mean, this was like advanced challenge. Like,
yeah, you really had to pick your spot of like what the weather was like. All right, like, oh, okay, I'm going to go out now. It looks kind of clear. It looks a little less shitty out. I'm going to try to pitch these, throw these footballs and hit these golf balls. Yeah.
So, I mean, we all had 10 golf swings, and I still don't know how I was lucky enough to get 2 and get 7th place. And I think you had what, you had a few
3.
more than that and you had 3 and got 2nd place.
Yeah. I didn't know I got 2nd in this until I was writing out the results earlier today.
Yeah. It was just so tough to make clean contact with the ball. I mean, when you did, it was so hard to land it in the kiddie pool.
You know what else helped with that was waiting later in the day for it to fill up with water a little bit, because the balls were just bouncing. If they hit those hard plastic surfaces, they would just bounce right out. But with a little bit of cushion with the water in the bottom, you had a better chance of landing it in there and getting it to stick, if you could even hit the target, which was difficult for a lot of people, including myself. I think I only got 2 in out of all 10 in practice swings.
Yeah, I mean, this game is kind of a battle of attrition in places that really showed when we resolved ties with these overtime chip-offs. Like, I think it was like 4th through 7th place or something like that was this chip-off where we each took 3 chips. And I swear to God, like, it took like an hour just to resolve those four places because none of us were able to land in the kiddie pool. Like we were just basically trying to piss in the rain. Like it was so hard to get anything in there. But just to go over the finishers here, Nat took first in the golf chip. You took second. It was the favored person to win. Martin took third. Rap City landed in fourth. Pat,
Probably cheated.
Justin, Rap City did probably cheat. Pat was in fifth. Justin, I think he's from Sharpie's job.
I think
He
so.
took sixth. And then Andy and then Nick took eighth. So that was our finishers in golf, our top 8 finishers.
And I assume you chipped for Travis and Jasper and Kyle, right?
No, I did not. I did not
Oh, you
chip for
didn't.
them. No,
Okay,
we
we're
just wanted to make sure
established
they were represented
this. I'm establishing
team
this right
games.
now. Let the record show I'm establishing this now. Moving on.
All right. Next event is push-ups. This event was won by Nick. Again, all 98 pounds of him with 72 push-ups to win. Nat had 49 for second. Brian, 42. Pat and Martin had 35 each for fourth place. Sharpie and Josh had 33 points. And myself and Jake had 25 push-ups each. Now, these stats don't include Rap City, who jumped into the competition after it was completed and scored. I tossed up some points for his efforts, which would have put him in the middle of the pack of the field. But that's another controversy that you could single out Rap City for if you want, but I'm the one who gave him the points there.
There's a lot of controversy in this one.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy here. I mean, did you notice anything wrong with the push-up competition?
I did. I mean, I can't really speak because I didn't do it. I didn't feel like doing push-ups because I know I can't do as many push-ups as I needed to do get even into 8th place. So I was just like, I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, I was noticing there was a lot of form issues all around.
Yeah, this isn't singling out one person. This is singling out like, I don't know, maybe half of the scoring field. There was just some half-assed push-ups. A lot of, I don't know. I'm just going to say next year we're going to have to put down a cone or a bell or something, just to make sure that we're getting full depth on the push-ups. I'm proud to say that I got 25 and I was pretty much kissing the ground every time I did mine. But, anyway, Nick won this event. I was impressed to see him get up 72 push-ups. Nat,
that's impressive.
Nat and Brian both being up there, it was pretty much expected. And it is what it is. And it was a fun event to spectate for sure. Because people were calling out the half-assed push-ups and it made the person under the spotlight think about how they wanted to do the rest of their push-ups. So it was fun overall. I hope we bring it back.
And then the next event up was essentially the main event of the day, which was everybody was looking forward to, and I feel like I had the most spectators, was arm wrestling, won by Nat, unsurprisingly, coming in first there, beating Brian in the finals. Brian making a big showing, getting into the finals there, but I think he used up most of his energy getting to the finals.
Yeah, Brian had to go through not just Sharpie, but also Jake and, I forget who he had in the early rounds, but having Jake and Sharpie back to back is enough to kill your arm, and you don't need anything going against you before you face Nat. So we'll get into that finals match in a second, but just wrapping up the rest of the top 8 here. So after Nat and Brian, Sharpie took third over me in the third place match. Seth took fifth, Ben Garrett took sixth, Martin 7, and Grizz in 8th.
Limping in the 8th. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty to discuss here, but we can kind of start at the top with Nat. I don't know how many matches he had, but like the total time of all of them together couldn't have been more than 3 seconds. It was just boom, you're done. Boom, you're done. Boom, you're done. Just like people just losing their manhood left and right.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't on that side of the bracket.
Yeah, it was, I mean, he killed all of us. Like, I mean, he destroyed me too. Like I was one of his victims that he took on the way there. But I mean, in the final against Brian, like Brian was like our best, like hope, our great white hope. And you could just hear his wrist tendons snapping as Nat overwhelms him. Like
Yeah, I think you took a video of it and it was just like immediate.
yeah, it was horrifying. Like we were all just overwhelmed, and I don't know what we can do to catch up to that. I mean, I was thrilled just to make it to the third place match, given some of the tough people in this field. I mean, that was a hard bracket, as you know. I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of a feeling out process to start, because I had to start with Cody, and he was just going to forfeit out of the tournament, and then he saw my name. Such disrespect. He sees my name in the bracket and says, well,
I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot.
I'll stick around for one match and see what happens. And that was a really hard start for me, because we just were kind of just in this, not checkmate. We were just stuck in check with each other, like
a stalemate.
A stalemate. That's the word I was looking for. I was going to say checkmate, but I knew that wasn't the correct word. We were in this stalemate forever.
That's what a lot of these matches kind of boiled down to. It's like if one person wasn't overwhelmingly strong, you were just in a stalemate until someone got worn down and couldn't push anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we had our matchup in the championship bracket was a hard one, between the two of us. And that was another one of those, just kind of drag it out, like just kind of see whose energy bar can hold out the longest before it's done. And I think you said you like popped your shoulder out of place or something in that match.
Something happened. I don't really know. It's not dislocated, but like, is there like, what's like a couple steps below that? I don't know, but it's not like, I don't know. It still kind of hurts a little bit. It's getting better, but, I'm going to the gym a lot. I'm going to be ready.
You're going to be ready for Manfest 2. You're going to be
training for Manfest 2 now already.
Yeah. So, just so you could just improve that energy bar a little bit. I mean, just grueling. My next match, I had Ben Garrett, who's, I don't know, he's probably well over 300 pounds, probably in the 350s, and just as tall. Like, he's like Brian Laird tall.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Like, he's huge. And that was one of those where, like, I almost passed out, like, after, like, I outlasted him, but then I just, like, kind of collapsed on the board for 10 seconds, just like, oh my God, I might die. This might be it for me. Like, I beat Ben Garrett, but at what cost? You know,
and I faced him right before Martin, and yeah, that sucked. Because I got myself together enough for several more matches in between, and I mean, I didn't win any of them. My shoulder was just, it wasn't doing good. And then by the finals against Martin, it was just like, I can't even push anymore. It was just over.
Yeah. But before we move on to the next event, I have to give props to Sharpie for beating me in the third place match. I really thought that, as hard as I've been working, outside over the summer, and, you know, considering myself kind of blue collar, I do a lot of work on my laptop as well. I have to wear gloves to keep my hands soft. So
I got computer hands.
I was really eager to kind of show like what I was worth against Sharpie, and he just destroyed me. Like, I think he was offended that I was his opponent in the third place match. Like, he was so fired up for that. It was one of those things, like, I think he said like he was so psyched up, like there's no way he was going to lose that. Like, he was willing to die if he had to make sure that he doesn't lose to Andy in the third place match. So, we're really good. Me and Sharpie are, you know, as best friends as they come, but as that kind of carries over into rivalries sometimes. Yeah. And he was willing to, he put it all on the line, and he absolutely clobbered me, like, as strong as I was. And I think we both lasted against Nat just about the same amount of time, and Nat predicted that we would be close, and it wasn't close. Sharpie destroyed me. So, kind of like you, I have a gauge for how hard I have to work for next year, just to stay competitive with these guys and try to spring an upset at some point. But at this point, the pecking order is pretty clear. to where everyone stands. So I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, and Rhapsody is a cheater. And do, do you want to discuss that, or do you want to move on?
No, I mean, he was the only one disqualified. He was, I guess, I didn't see all of it, but I guess he was kind of pulling on the table during his arm wrestling match and jumping up in the air against you.
He was pulling on the table. He took his elbow off he was pulling on the table with his off arm, and he took his elbow off the table while we were going. And like, I was starting to lose, like I was starting to fade a little bit, but he took his elbow off the table and he starts like jamming my arm down, trying to like smash my hand on the table or something. I don't know what he did, but Nat disqualified him, and he was like, no, he was like, what? Let's go again. And I was like, no, fuck you. No, I'm not going again.
Yeah. I mean, a DQ is a DQ, and I'm glad someone like Nat was there to enforce it. Like, what are you gonna do? Tell Dad he's wrong?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Rhapsody. He'll give you his home address. You can go to Nat's house.
Cause I will happily disqualify.
Personally complain about it.
Yeah. I will happily disqualify Rhapsody all day just to be a dickhead. But Nat was there too. It wasn't just my decision. All right.
Yeah, but that was one of those things that extended your tournament and extended your pain.
Yeah, it was great because then I had to go against Ben Garrett after that, and then another match against Martin after that.
Yeah, I think by the time you got to Martin, you had like just a part of your arm left.
After my first match against you, because that's where I felt something go in my shoulder. I was like working it around and moving it around, and I got it back into a spot where it wasn't actively hurting anymore. So I was like, all right, I think I can keep doing this. And it probably wasn't the best idea, but whatever. I got 2 points out of it. Hooray.
Yeah. For what cost?
Yeah.
Those 2 Manfest points. Well, you're tied as an equal man with me. So that was good. You needed every single point you got.
Yeah, I'm as much man as a blue collar, groundskeeper. So.
All right. Moving on to Home Run Derby.
Home Run Derby. I almost didn't even do this one.
This was an event that
I think a lot of people, a lot of people forgot about it. And then somebody did it in like the complete dark. So I don't remember who did that.
Yeah, it was I do. Yeah, it was in Sharpie's backyard. So it was kind of closed away from the rest of it. And there were a few people who were shrewd enough to get out during the day while it was still light out and get their swings in. Like, I think Rhapsody was one of them. He had six home runs, and I don't think he went out late. I think he went out at a decent time. So, but Rhapsody won Home Run Derby with 6 home runs. Then Martin and Nick had 5 for second. Sharpie and Nat had 4 each for 4th place. Cody and Jake had 2 each for 6th place, and myself and Ben Garrett each had 1 for 7th place. And,
I also got 1 on, it could have been my 10th or 11th one. Who's to say? Who was really keeping all that close of a count? But I got 1, and Rhapsody wouldn't give it to me. I want to say that.
Rhapsody disqualified you from the Home Run Derby.
Yeah. It could have been my 11th swing. I don't think it was. I might have been. I don't remember.
Man, that one point might have made you more of a man than me too. It would have been.
I know. Well, see?
Well, so it determined a lot, but this was
I think that was more pivotal. That was a more pivotal. Pivotable? What?
That's a new word we just invented on the Nerdfest podcast. It was such a wild event because people who realized late that there was an event going on, like people were running out into the darkness and just in the driving rain to try and drive these like wiffle balls into the night sky. Like, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was something to behold because like an hour before that, I was watching you do it and it was getting dark.
Yeah.
And that was like an hour before these crazy bastards run out there. Like, I know Nat was one of them. Like, he was fighting for every point. Like, he went out there and did that, like, in the dark and rain and somehow scraped out a 4th place finish out of that. It was wild.
I feel like I would have done better if we had a pitcher too. I was trying to throw him up to myself, and with the wind and the rain, it wasn't working out.
And then, yeah, just trying to look at it with your glasses falling down and shit. Like there was a lot of challenges to doing it on your own, but, there was some good moments. There was, some fun home runs to watch, some fun dingers.
Yeah, no Terry level, but
Yeah, yeah. Terry might show up for next Manfest, but anyway, speaking of events that Terry could probably win, the beer chug has 2 full beers, which I think
getting 2
after
full
we
beers
measured it out, I think
was
it
a
equates to
struggle
3
in its
beers.
own. What's that?
It was 2 red Solo cups filled to the top with beer.
Yeah, but that's more than 8 ounces, right?
Yeah, that's more than was called for.
Yeah.
So the winner of this competition was Brian, and it was 10.08 seconds for Brian.
Yeah, that's insane.
Full ass red Solo cups. We have video of it, and I watched the video, and I've watched it like 20 times, and I still don't believe it. It's just like he's drinking I don't even know if I can chug water that fast, to be honest. Like, he just destroyed it, Brian. And I don't know if it takes longer for the beer to get down to his system or whatever, but it was ridiculous. So
I think I asked him afterwards how he did it, and he just said, I was thirsty. I was like, oh, I guess that's all you got. You just need to be thirsty. Brian level thirsty.
Because you watch some of the videos of the other contenders, and there's a wall you hit. Like, I hit my wall after the first beer. Like, I'm trying to fight throwing up, trying to force this beer down. And
you're like, I still have a whole nother one of those.
And there's just people are in visible pain. Like, there's tears in their eyes. Like,
cause you can see it in the times here. Cause we didn't go down all the names. Let's do that real quick here.
Yeah.
Brian got first with 10. Benji had 12, was second with 12. Nat was in, third with 14. And those are the top 3, because then Nick was in 4th with 24, and then everybody else was in the 30s or beyond. So you could see how some people just destroyed it, and then most people kind of did it and hit a little bit of a wall, like you said. Because Andy was 31 seconds at 5th. Sharpie, 6th place, 32 seconds. I bet he's pretty sore about that, losing to you.
He took that anger against me in the arm wrestling match. Sharpie was so pissed about losing to me in beer chug. I think there is a part of him that will always be mad about that. Anyway, continue.
Seth was in 7th with 33 points, and then Justin came in 8th with 45 points.
I can't believe the top 3, even the top 4 here. I mean,
did you chug beers for
Nat really
Jasper?
posted winning times. Those should have won any other competition.
Yeah.
Any amateur competition, 12 seconds should win that. 14 seconds should win that.
Yeah, it's really too bad for Benji. I didn't know what his time was until I was writing him down today. He really got overshadowed by Brian. Cause that should have been enough to win, but Brian really just, fucking killed it.
But alright, but look at how, I think it might be how tall they are. Cause Brian and Ben Garrett are probably our 2 tallest players. Am I wrong? Is there anybody else that was kind of their height? They're big dudes.
They can just open their jaws wider and just pour it down their throat.
They poured it down their throat like Andre the Giant. It was just ridiculous. I mean, I've seen so many athletic feats in my life, but that's definitely near the top. Just this athletic beer chug. So anyway.
Did you chug for Jasper, Kyle, or Travis?
No, I decided not to. I decided that I think I spilled a little bit on myself in their memory to make sure that they were represented.
I would like the record to show that Andy again has said he's not representing those 3 guys in any of these games. Let's continue.
And any of those individual games.
Any of the games. Let's continue.
Moving on, axe throwing. This was a box of chocolates kind of event. I mean, axe throwing in general is kind of a new phenomenon in society. When did that come around? Around the pandemic, I feel was.
Yeah, I think it was starting to become a thing just before that, and then it's only gotten bigger. I think probably because it's like you have to like at the axe throwing places, at least the ones that I've heard about, you got to like reserve a time, and there's like there's like a little cordoned off place, and so it seems like the kind of thing that you could have done, like over the pandemic. But
Yeah,
it is getting bigger and bigger these days, and it was tough. Like I was hitting a few of them in practice and stuff, but then in actual competition throws, I didn't hit very many of them. But it was tough again, like, cause we were playing it on that hill in Sharpie's backyard. And so you were kind of throwing it uphill a little bit, and just throwing an axe and getting it to stick into something is not, immediately obvious how you do that,
Yeah. And if you listeners haven't seen the targets, like they were handcrafted out of, I think it was mostly pallet wood. There might be some better wood in there, but I think it's mostly pallet wood, and it was painted by Jake's wife.
Yeah, I think it was just 4x4s.
Yeah, and it turned out real nice. We had 3 targets out there. If you haven't seen them, go on Facebook and check them out. But this event, like, it was definitely like a box of chocolates kind of event, just because no one's really well practiced in axe throwing. We weren't sure what to expect, and in the end, it kind of did turn out for the unexpected. Like, the event was won by Rap City, I think cleanly, and
who knows? People were wary of that as well. When word came back that he scored 33 points, people were like, "What? Was anybody watching?" And nobody really. I don't know if anyone was, but.
And then Pat was tied for first with Rap City, so those 2 guys won the championship in axe throwing. Then it was Jake in third, Sharpie in fourth, Nat in fifth, Nick in sixth, and then I was tied with Justin for seventh. So it's such a technical event. Like, you have to have like a wrist snap.
You really have to know what you're doing.
You can't go too hard with the wrist snap, but you also can't go too soft, and then just like not even throw hard enough to make a connection. Like,
because even if you can throw the axe and make contact with the target, there's no guarantee that it's going to stick.
Yeah, it's just such like an event that takes like getting into a rhythm, finding your groove. And I did that in my practice rounds, kind of like you said with yours. Like, I think I hit the bullseye on like half of my practice rounds, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, like, is this your first time doing this?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then like during the actual competition, it was a lot. It was just hard to find consistency in that game, but it was a fun game. Sharpie owns the axes, so I anticipate this will be a game that returns if we do a future Manfest. I think we will. There's a lot of positive feedback for it, and this is an event everyone was looking forward to, and I think it delivered.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun, definitely different, and
it was another spectating event that was fun to watch too.
Yeah, and it was funny how we were saying that. I remember going into the Manfest, we were saying, "Oh yeah, definitely the shooting and the axes. We're going to get those out of the way right away, it's just so people, aren't getting all drunk and doing that." And that's not what we did.
Yeah, we ended up just getting drunk and doing all of those things, and no one got struck by an axe.
No, it was perfectly fine.
Rap City, actually, of all people, Rap City sent one through the targets and into the quarry. We had to go digging around down there. And
oh man,
Sharpie climbed his way out, but Rap City had more trouble climbing his way out.
I say climbing out of the quarry is an event next year.
Yeah, we're coming up with new ideas for Manfest 2 already. We already have half a keg still going, so may as well get a second Manfest together, So,
all right.
Anyway,
moving on here to the next event, the soccer kick. We had what did we have that set up there? What was that we were kicking the ball through?
It was, what was it? It was like
something on a tire. I'm such a city boy. I don't fucking know what that is. What is that?
It wasn't quite a
rim?
tire. It was,
was it a rim?
Yeah, it was almost like a rim.
It was like the interior of a tire. It was what the tire, the rubber part goes on.
Yeah, I think that's a rim. People are going to call us out for our knowledge of things.
I know about
for
tires.
The Manfest
I play
podcast,
video games.
Yeah, we do video games. This is just something to show that we're that there are men in Nerdfest.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But this is another event that I was looking at the scoring and I wasn't quite sure what was going on here because it seemed like a lot of people had separate places but got the same scores. So I don't know what was going on here but we had Nat in first with 4 and then Sharpie in second with 4. And then we had Nick in third with 3, then Ben G in third with 3. And then a whole bunch of people in fifth with 2, Rhapsody, myself, Martin, Seth, Stefan, and Pat.
Okay. The reason that Nick and Ben G have the same amount, but they are different placement is because they had a chance to do a shoot off, kind of like we did for golf with the chip off, where you take extra shots until the placement is determined between those 2 people. But it was like the end of the night, and I think we had like 5 people trying to sort out 5th through 8th place. And once we were in a situation like that, we just split up all the points evenly between the players. And
yeah,
I
wasn't going back out for a kickoff or whatever. I wasn't.
Yeah, in the darkness and stuff like that.
I know a lot of people were going out there, and I was just like, nah. I
Yeah,
bailed on a bunch of events anyway. I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm good.
Yeah, cause I think Nat and Sharpie had a shoot off for first place there. So, I'm impressed that there were people that were able to get 4 kicks through. That was a hard game, and it eventually kind of became a muddy mess, even with all the straw there. Like just people digging in and taking their shots. Like you couldn't firmly plant your foot to get a shot off. You almost had to kind of guide your foot and hopefully your shot went through.
Yeah, I was just doing like toe kicks, just trying to like lead it up into it, you know?
Yeah.
Without doing like a big swing or something. But it was, that was tough. That was tough too. Cause I was doing it in like duck boots, you know?
Exactly.
I was kind of hoping I'd be able to wear sneakers, but the elements were not, I wasn't wearing my sneakers out there.
Yes, and this was another event that was won by Nat. You know, you can tell he's a soccer dad. I think he's a soccer coach actually. I'm also a soccer dad, but I only got 1 through. I mean, that was really hard. So, moving on from one football to the next football, the football toss.
Football.
Yeah, American football toss. This was won by Sharpie with 6 throws through the hoop, or through the tire.
Yeah, it was a tire.
And then,
that's impressive.
Yeah. And then Nick and Jake were second and third. They each had 4. And then I think we're doing kind of the throw offs with these as well. Cody and Stefan each had 3 completions for 4th and 5th place respectively. Rhapsody and Benji, 2 each, 6th and 7th place. And then Justin had 2 and he was in 8th place. So, this one was kind of,
I remember I got 1, so I must have just been just out of there, but I was a lineman. I wasn't allowed to touch the football.
Yeah. And do you know who else was a lineman? Sharpie. He was the 295-pound center of our high school
he got to touch the football.
Well, he touched the football every day, but his job was just to transfer it to the quarterback. Like, whenever the quarterback calls for it, he snaps the ball, you know. Sharpie's not the guy to throw the ball, but maybe he should have been. Because at Manfest, Sharpie was freaking John Elway. Like, he completed his first 5 or 6 passes. Like, it was just going shoot, just everything right through the tire. And it was like his first 5 or 6, and then he missed the rest of them. But that was enough. Like, he showed, enough to beat the rest of us anyway. And, I still can't believe that. That's a success story. Lineman to quarterback. You don't see that change of position this late in life. So.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, but, just with his long hair and everything. He was like Trevor Lawrence out there with the long hair. He has Trevor Lawrence's hair and John Elway's arm. Like, this is the perfect quarterback. He's younger than Tom Brady.
Yeah, they could call him up.
He's still 38, guys. NFL teams listening. Like, he's still under 40. He can give you some good reps.
It'd be like Rookie of the Year, or like, no wait. What was that Randy Quaid movie? Was it Dennis Quaid, the movie where he was the old guy playing baseball? It wasn't Rookie of the Year.
What it was called. I watched it. It was a Disney movie.
Yeah, I don't remember.
not much else to say about football, except for it was really wet outside, and trying to throw a wet football sucks.
The
Like, I felt
rookie?
like I felt like Eli Manning, like throwing it in the wet weather. Like I couldn't get a good handle on the football. It was really hard. Like I almost had to like shot put it.
Yeah.
I was like trying to shot put it to keep it like moving in the right direction
It was called
towards
The
it. Like
Rookie, the movie. It was called The Rookie.
the rookie. I thought you were calling me a rookie, and I was
No,
like, okay, fuck you too, Grizz. I'll move on
no.
with my life. But no, the movie was called The Rookie, and you are
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, no, I
No,
was out there with, Spencer. I was doing throws with him and we had what, 5 practice throws? I think he hit 4 of those practice throws and we were both like, holy shit, like, cause he was like, I think this is the most I've ever touched a football before. And then on his 10 throws, on his 10 like actual throws, do you know how many he got in?
0.
0. That
I
was
just
so
picture
unfortunate. I was
timesheets in
just
his
like, I
head
can't
right
believe
now.
this because it was just the fulfillment of everything he was worried about. Like, like he was like, he did good in the practice and then he got 0 points and then he came in very, very last place.
It's it's hard. I mean, especially when people are watching, and then like it's hard to do anyway, just by doing it by yourself. But the people are like either watching you
Yeah.
or talking shit or just
The crowd
there's
aspect of it is what like, I think most people don't anticipate.
yeah yeah. Plus the beer, it's
Yeah.
just so impressive second place finish from Nick. You can tell that he was practiced up for this. Um, Nick, I think Nick scored in every single event, including our next event.
What were you talking about? Oh yeah, Nick. He came in 4th there. Yeah, I'm surprised how many points Nick got. He was prepared. Did he sign up or did he just show up the day of like he usually does with Nerdfest?
I'll tell you what, Nick was one of the first people to register for ManFest. Like
All
he
right.
was like, all right, he didn't get there first. Nat was the first person, like literally 5 seconds after ManFest was created. I think Nat was registered, and I think we knew who was going to win at that
Yeah.
point. But Nick wasn't long after. Like, uh, I would say out of all of us, like he probably had as much involvement with Sharpie. Sharpie did the lion's share of the work, but Nick did do a little bit of helping with Sharpie and setting up. In turn, he got a lot of practice, and he ended up, he scored, I think he scored at every event, and he won this next event.
Yeah. The next event, the final event that we have information on, it is, the BB gun shoot, which, Nick won with, Pat coming in 2nd, Nat coming in 3rd, Andy in 4th, Rhapsody in 5th, probably cheated, Sharpie in 6th, Josh in 7th, and, Seth coming in 8th. And
This
I
was
don't
a
really remember a whole lot about it. This one was tough. This was even tougher on the day of because everybody was like, how accurate is this gun? Where does it shoot? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But then like on the day of, we were dealing with the wind and the rain and like all the drops coming off of the tent we were under. It was a tough event.
Yeah, I was expecting to see Pat near the top of this field because I think guns is like one of his religions.
Gun
Um,
enthusiast.
yeah, like he knows everything about guns from every world war. He's very full of gun knowledge. And, anyway, he was very sharp shot here, and it was,
But,
it was him
but
and Nat kind of competing for that second spot behind, of course, Nick, who won.
yeah, Nick coming in first.
Yeah,
Who would have expected that?
yeah, I don't know what to say other than it was just one of those, another one of those events where it was hard to do. You had to get yourself settled, which was hard in the cold rain, and make sure you're perfectly still, try to get an aim. And all I was aiming to do when I was shooting was just trying to get that clink sound against the aluminum or whatever that was made out of the
Yeah.
target. And anytime I heard that, I was happy to hear that because that means I at least hit the target somewhere.
Yeah, you at
So
least hit the piece of paper, if not inside the target.
yeah, so that was, it was just one of those, you just kind of lined everybody up, shot them, and then, well, that sounded really weird. But no, everyone took their turns at the BB gun, and then, just compared the scores after. I think it was, I don't want to say it was a crapshoot, but because I see Pat near the top, and that was certainly a skill thing. So I was happy. I was thrilled to finish fourth place. I'm not very familiar with shooting BB guns. I think I got one like
hmm
maybe in high school. And I
Yeah,
didn't
it's been
really
a
use it that
while.
much. It's been like decades since I've used a BB gun. So I was really happy with how I performed that event. So congrats to Nick on winning that one.
And those are the last events that we have info on, because there was a lot of bracketed like versus events, like what do we got here? Like pool and darts and cornhole. What else did we do in
Pool,
terms of brackets?
arm wrestling. And
The
I think
armor.
I sent over the placements for pool and stuff like that, but
I didn't see them.
oh,
I
okay.
must have missed those.
Well, you've ruined everything. But anyway, I think you want to talk about cornhole a little bit. This was it was a fun event. It was a unique event.
A fun event
And
won by me and Sharpie. We're the champions. Me and Sharpie.
you guys had to
Mostly
take out
because
the
of
trash a little bit.
Sharpie. Even though and folks, now that we've gotten here, I know you heard me talking about Jasper, Kyle, and Travis before, and those names didn't come up at all, other than me bringing them up, and there's a very good reason for that. Because in this cornhole bracket, Mr. Andy Sandrick, sir, over here, decided to take all of their places in this cornhole bracket and put himself into this cornhole bracket and lost every single time.
Not every
Except for
single
one.
time.
Okay,
We
you
rallied
won
back
one
to
game.
take fifth, I think.
You won one game.
We
Because
did.
me and Sharpie knocked you out in the first round. You put yourself into another spot and you lost. You put yourself into a spot in the finals, or in the consolation bracket, and I think won once, and then you put yourself in another spot and then lost.
Okay, now I'm going to try to defend myself and say that there was a problem and I fixed it. Now,
Okay.
we were at an absolute log jam because we were
Nobody
waiting for all
else
these
was
guys
there
to
that could
show
have
up.
taken those spots. No one.
Grizz, calm down. Now,
I'm calm. I'm
there were
presenting my
three teams.
argument very rationally and calmly.
All right, so
I'm the
there's
champion also, so I get a lot of leeway here.
I'm also a champion, so I should get some
Not in
leeway.
cornhole.
I have 1.5 championships.
Not in court. We're talking about Manfest.
Oh.
We're not talking about nerdy affairs today, sir. We're talking about Manfest, where I'm the cornhole champion, and me and Sharpie beat you soundly several times to send you back.
You did have to beat us twice. Now, here's what happened. There were 3 teams with just 1 player, and we were waiting for these guys and waiting for them. We gave them as long as we could before decisions had to be made, because each cornhole game involves 4 people. So if 3 teams are missing, that's affecting 12 people, and that's all across all the different
What?
brackets and possibilities. So the teams had to be condensed. People had to be added to the bracket.
What is this, like Common Core new math shit you're doing here? 12 people all of a sudden now? Find somebody.
No,
You could have found
no,
somebody. You
saying
could have just conscripted somebody else in the tournament and
no,
been like,
I'm
you're in
saying
this spot
3
now.
people missing impact 12 players, right?
No, you
'Cause
could have put other people that were there into those spots.
Yeah, I did. I put the first
yourself.
I found the first players that were eliminated, and then I inserted them into the championship bracket, and then we had a full bracket. Like, I solved a problem. The tournament moved along. We got all the events done. It worked out. And, it might not be the squeakiest clean way, but we got
because you were already knocked out. You're already eliminated.
that. Well, the brackets needed to be taken care of and filled. Like, there
Mhm.
were so many people missing teammates. It was and I was fully ready to step aside if Kyle, Jasper, or, what was the other dude's name?
Travis, sir.
Yeah,
I am representing their memories, sir.
Yes,
they're not dead, but they're Manfest memory.
Listen, all 3 of those guys had paid spots, and it was my job to be a placeholder and keep them alive, just in case they decide to show up.
Not in any of the other ones, though. Noted, as noted.
So that's individual events.
Noted, as the jury will deliberate on.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of comments about this, but it worked.
Rhapsody level shenanigans. Boom. Done. Over.
I'm just saying the Manfest gods ensured this worked out the way as it should have, because you and Sharpie were dominant. There was, I think the first time you closed this out, Sharpie got possessed and hit like 2 ringers, or I don't know what you'd call it in cornhole, but,
I've never played cornhole all that much. I started getting hot eventually, but it was mostly Sharpie doing the heavy lifting.
yeah, there was, you guys deserved to win, and you got the win, and it was fun. Everyone got to play at least 2 matches. Some people got to play a couple more, and it was a good time.
It was a good time. Anyway, that's enough time on cornhole. I think, Cody won darts. He had an epic finals match against Nat where they were both going for the bullseye by the end of it.
Yeah, they were playing 20 to 20. It was around the world. You had to hit 1 through 20 on the cornhole board until you got to the finish. And then it was the bullseye after that for 21. And it was like a very brisk match. Like it moved at a pretty fast pace
They're both really good at darts. Like I don't know how you be good at darts other than just play a lot, because like I started picking up on changing my form a little bit as it was going on, but I still don't know how you like throw a dart and be like, oh, it's going to hit there. It's going to hit there. It's going to hit there. Like it's just like, it's like a game of chance to me.
Yeah, I just love how somehow these tournaments end up giving you great finals, because like I know I was dog shit in darts and there was a lot of players who were like me, and you just kind of filter out all that fat, trim the fat there, and then you get the cream that rises to the top with the top players, and you get some good finals. Like that was a real fun final to watch between Nat and Cody, and congrats to Cody for winning that. That was a heck of a win. And from my understanding, like Ty, who wasn't here, is a lot better than Nat. Like he beats Nat every time, and Nat was like that close to winning the Manfest championship. So, we'll have to look out for Ty when he comes next time.
Yeah, it was too bad Ty wasn't there. I wanted to, give him shit about the Braves being eliminated from the playoffs, but he wasn't there, so I couldn't. But, what else? The costume contest. What?
Yeah, we talked about Rhapsody winning the costume contest.
Oh yeah, there was some shenanigans though.
There was a huge turn of events at the end of the night that we figured out, and it was Pat destroying this tournament from the grave. Like Pat had already packed up and left. Like he had to go home and take care of his kid, or something like that. He had responsibilities. He had to leave a little bit early. And then later in the night, we determined the photo contest that Pat was actually our runner-up in the photo contest. Rhapsody won the photo contest, which we all know. He got his points. But Sharpie, we thought, whenever I counted earlier, and this could be the drinking or whatever, the fun, or just the intensity of Manfest. I don't know. I might have scrolled too fast on Facebook, but I miscredited Sharpie as the runner-up, giving him 10 bonus points. And the actual runner-up was Pat. Pat had his kilt, his outfit. It was terrific, and he got second place for it. And so I had to deduct 10 points from Sharpie, which essentially took away the championship from him.
Yeah, and it really did.
And then it added 10 points to Pat. So I was more of a man than Pat the entire night until he gets those 10 bonus points. And then all of a sudden I'm less of a man than Pat. And I'm very hurt. Like I'm about to break into tears thinking about it. But that changed everything at the end of the night. And something as simple as just, I mean, it should have been marked right from the beginning, but the photo contest, we've done these for a few, Nerdfest tournaments now, and they end up having like a huge impact sometimes. They could change everything, and
yeah, any and all points are important in these tournaments.
But I think Sharpie wasn't too bitter about it. I think he wanted that second place trophy anyway.
Those trophies were awesome. Seth made them.
Yeah, I need to throw out the name of his group, of his business. It's called like Killers or something. I need to look it up. I'm going to feel like a dumbass if I say something wrong. But it was, he did a terrific job. And I think he made all 3 trophies on the week of Nerdfest or Manfest, excuse me. And yeah, they were heavy. Like, I think Nat was the only person capable of carrying the first place trophy. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that, I'm glad that he won that. But yeah, just appreciate that. The Ivy House, kind of arts and crafts kind of group. They did they did stickers for us. They did, the beer cup, the beer holders, they did all sorts of stuff. And just, there was just so many cool things we did. We had a 50-50 did 50-50 raffle. We raffled off some mugs. It was just a really great, successful day. Like, it could have been a really bad day with the rain and stuff like that. If we let it be a bad day, but it turned out to be an awesome day. Like, I didn't see anybody not having fun. It was a good time from beginning to end. And I'm just really glad we did this and really glad Sharpie, uh, put it all together.
Yeah, it was a great day, and I know there's a lot of interest for the next one, and it's almost a certainty that there's going to be another one. Because I think we were even talking about having Manfest be like the spring, the fall event, and then Nerdfest is like the spring summer event. So we're back to two major events a year with along with the whatever little mini events we're doing in between. But yeah, it was a great day. We did those trophies were really cool. We had a 50-50. We raffled off some mugs, and we raised a lot of money going towards the next Nerdfest. I think it was over $400 in the end.
Yeah, over $400 for Manfest. And, that's after, Sharpie clears the money to pay for food and beverages and stuff like that. Like, that's $400, like, after paying off all the expenses. Like, we were kind of concerned. Like, at first there was a lot of late registrations for Manfest, and we were like, man, are we gonna like have to announce we lost money on
Yeah, I think
this
we got like
tournament?
half of the field in the last week, pretty much.
Yeah, and then things just turned around, like, on the week of during game week. It just kind of, we had late registrations, people donating extra money, just things just dramatically turned around, and we ended up with over $400 for the Nerdfest fund. So just thank you to everybody who helped kind of um push the needle there. We badly needed a shot in the arm, and we got one from just everyone who helped collectively contribute to that. So, um, just, just all in all, great tournament. I'm really happy with the way
Yep.
it went. I think Sharpie's happy as well. And it seems like everyone is down for the next one, and everyone has like their own events that they want to suggest, kind of like Nerdfest is. So
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely there's a lot of excitement for the next one already. So I'm sure we're gonna see an Manfest 2 next year sometime. But we only have a couple more minutes left here in this recording, and I wanted to mention that Phil has a mini event coming up at his place. It's not a mini fest or whatever. It's just I think it's like a get together LAN party, like Halloween fun party. But I saw it on Facebook. He's gonna be having Halo and Towerfall and Smash. No, there's no cost of admission or anything, but there's yeah, so that you bring food and drink and the costume and cosplay optional and stuff because it's gonna be Halloween weekend. But you can find out more about that in the Facebook group. I just wanted to throw that out there before we wrap up this episode of the podcast. But I think that's all that I have to cover. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, just one more announcement, one more financial announcement for the group. I went to collect our money for recycling today. Raven Recycling closes out their fiscal year at the end of October. So we cashed out for recycling, and the total was $290 for recycling, which
Damn.
I think that's already more than we raised all of last year. And we're going to renew we're going to start the next recycling cycle in November. And that's astounding. Like, to get that much money from, a lot of it comes from Sherman's Creek Inn, and that's just beer cans. So just know that every time you go and have dinner at Sherman's Creek Inn, folks and listeners, and have a can of beer, you're helping a good cause. So that's very exciting. And
Yeah, that's
once that
awesome.
once that 290 clears, the money from Manfest just cleared in our PayPal, but we have, once the 290 clears from recycling, we're going to be close to $1,300 in the budget, for Nerdfest 12. And we're planning on doing the tournament in spring or summer 2024. And it's not even November yet, during this recording. And we already have almost $1,300, in the bank. This is really exciting. And, that just thinking about the possibilities, we did $4,000 at, Nerdfest last time. And it's, if we just keep our kind of nose to the grindstones, so to speak, we could really compete with that number this year if we keep, just connecting all the dots and, just if things just keep falling together like they are. We have such a good, kind group of people, competitive group of people, nerdy group of people, manly group of people. It's just, great to kind of see how this tournament used to be just like a keg party. And I've said it before on the podcast, just this like keg party, and it's evolved into something so much more with, what we do with Extra Life and stuff. So, just another thank you to everybody for everyone who contributes and to the Nerdfest machine, to make it what it is today.
Absolutely. It was a great event, and we've already got a good start on the next Nerdfest, but we still got a ways to go, and I know everyone's going to be looking forward to it. And thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. We're running out of time quickly. We got to go. Goodbye.
Have a great day.